All right, let's make sure we are good. Give me a sec. Let me make sure everything is good. All right. We can go ahead and full screen this. Hee hee. We're in the ballpark where I can actually full screen stuff and it doesn't mess anything up. I feel good about it. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. Welcome to the People's Choice, where you guys show me the videos you guys want me to react to, and we just pretty much check it out. First up, it is when you're overqualified for your job. Let's make sure that the desktop volume is up and comfortable for everyone. And let's get started with this one. I've seen this. It's been a minute since I've seen this, but this particular video is why I think it would be cool to be a mascot, a person that wears a mascot costume, and then you're just messing around in it, just doing random stuff. This screams to me like this person is enjoying their job. But actually, hold on, real quick. Okay, all right, now we're good. Now we can get started. Let's go. See, see, the visage of the mascot is telling me that things are really. It's the setup. It's the setup. Like it's the sways while he's playing, or while they're playing. So you're just waiting for the moment. Yo, D-Train, good to see you. It's just and the lady in the back, she's just bopping with it. See, that is literally one of the funniest things that I've ever seen on YouTube. Just Just someone in a mask. It's the setup, okay? It's the quiet. It's literally the quiet before the storm. As soon as this person just continues to just pop off completely. It's like do 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 and it's just going ham for no reason. And it's the song in the background that doesn't even require that level of beat. That's just hilarious to me. But that was good. That was the first video. All right, let's see what you guys have sent me after. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Here's one. I put a roller coaster.
I just built a roller coaster inside of my parents' house, and here's how I did it. I knew my parents were going to be gone for about a week, so I decided to take apart their entire living room and start the roller coaster out the window. I then spent the next several days building it inside of the house and all through the woods. Now, I had no idea if this roller coaster was even going to work, but in case it did, I needed to make sure I captured it perfectly. So I grabbed my Insta360 X4 and got into place.
Roller coaster test. First time.
My favorite
Parents are
part
gone
about
on
this camera is the
vacation.
invisible selfie stick. It literally disappears
Let
in
me
the
build a
footage and
roller
gives this
coaster through
super
the whole
cool
house.
third-person view. And the best part is you can edit all of this footage on your phone on the Insta360 app. This roller coaster took a long time to make, so I'm glad the Insta360 X4 was able to capture all of it perfectly.
All the way to the end. That thing worked.
I just built a roller coaster inside of my parents'
Okay. Parents were gone. I'm going to build a roller coaster in the house. Now, here's the thing that gets me about this is I couldn't do this. Not that I lack the ingenuity and the know-how to do this, but I couldn't do this because I don't like no bugs in the house. The doors have to be open in the whole house, from the front door all the way to the back door, in order for this track to go through the house. And since you can't close the door on the tracks, those doors will have to be held open. You can't use this during the summer or when it's raining outside. Things from outside will want to get inside because you got the doors open. It's too much of a house liability. I don't know. It's a cool idea, but I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to eat lunch and there's flies in the house because the door's open because you want to play on the household roller coaster. I'm just saying. I would not build a roller coaster that goes through my house and I can't close any of the doors. That's just me. That's just me.
house, and here's how I did it.
Ooh, and once we reach the end of what you guys want me to see, there's some things that I want us to react to together, because while I may have watched someone's been watching Phineas and Ferb. Ferb, I know what we're gonna do today. There's 104 days of summer vacation. You know the theme. You know the theme song.
I knew my parents were going to be gone.
No, that is not.
I just built a roller coaster.
Okay, that is not a video you guys have shown me. Okay, so there's one. This one was sent in by our residential seismologist, Rox. The Volcano Iceland, and it's only 2 minutes. So it's going to be short. Volcano Iceland, 2 unbelievably huge monster-sized lava fountains, biggest since the eruption's start. Look. Okay, first of all, look at this. Imagine living in this area. Let's go back to the beginning. And you just see light behind your house. Think about that for a second. You just see light. Let me make sure that the mic is properly positioned right so you guys can hear me just fine. Think about seeing you're just chilling at your house. And then you just see light coming up out of the ground, just behind your house. What do? Do you investigate? Do you tell your family? Do you get out? But look at it getting brighter and brighter and brighter. Like you see more of the sky getting lit up more and more and more. That is a view. Just watching lava erupt out of the ground behind you, that is a view.
Holy shit.
There it is. There's going again. Every single moment the bottom half gets super, super bright, that's going to be yet another jet of lava flying up. Also, is it just me, or whenever you see lava flying up in the air in documentaries and they're not slowing it down, the lava still looks like it's moving in slow motion when it's falling? Even though everything below is just moving fine? Like, you see the car driving, but you see the lava in the back. That's amazing. That is actually really cool. And this is in Iceland. Contrary to some popular belief, Iceland is not covered in ice. Greenland is. Okay. Okay. That was actually pretty cool. All right, any other videos in the video suggestion? No. See, here's the thing. I put up this poll multiple times. I put it up at the beginning of the month, and I also put it up, I want to say the day before yesterday, for people to put their polls in there. And I put it up on here on Discord, and I put it up on YouTube, So now we get to move on to some of the stuff that I kind of want to check out. So real quick. Because this is something that I did not react to with you guys. So let's check out the Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok Strength and Darkness trailer. Because there are some things in this trailer and the other one from
Bring
before
the earth together.
There's some things in this trailer and the trailer that showcases more of Endless Ragnarok's expansion, just a little bit more, that I find incredibly interesting, that I never did a proper reaction to, but I was massively excited when I saw it.
Bring the earth together. Dissipate into the wind and seek the heat of flames. I'm so close. Hi there. You can call me Frau.
The character designs of
The
Relink
world.
have always been
It's a primal beast, and the first of its kind in a series of primals called the Arcarum. It watches, remembers, and stores information on everything it can find, even stuff that dates back to the dawn of creation.
What's the point of even doing something like that?
It's collecting data to build an entirely new world.
I remember something Lilith said about the Six Dragons.
This person right
that they'd
here, I'm
awaken
really
when the
looking
Sky
forward
Realm is
to.
in dire straits.
It is my duty to protect the realm. That, of course, includes Sega Grande.
The third new world. It will be perfect.
I was fine letting this world disappear.
Okay, that was
You
a
are
perfect block.
bound by a curious fate as much as they are. Will you also surrender to the Singularity's pull before long?
See Magliel
There was
and her
nothing for
shield.
me to love. So, I answered the devil's call.
Naught remains in my breast but enmity for that cursed beast.
Blessed evoker of the devil. Why do you spurn the birth of the new world?
We are the Wedges, elemental forces which maintain the shape of the world. In essence, we are the very
Yo,
bedrock
CDs, good
of
to
Genesis
see you.
itself. I, Ferial the Black, charge you with the trial of thresholds.
July 9th! Oh, I cannot wait. I can't wait.
PlayStation.
Because Relink was already an amazing game. Relink was already an amazing game, but them giving us an expansion that's giving us more to do, more story, more characters, new game modes. I'm just, I'm heavily excited. So let me see if I can find the actual YouTube channel because they got a whole bunch of stuff up there. Let's see. Ah, here we go. They got trailers for the different characters as well. And I believe this is the one that speaks more on Endless Ragnarok. One of the things they did pretty recently was put up character videos. They put up character videos of pretty much everyone, including some of the new people. Because they already have videos of Eustace, Beatrix, Magliel, and Galanza. But they do not have the gameplay videos of Frau and Fediel, though. The thing about Fediel is, lore-wise, she is regarded as one of the literal living embodiments of what makes up the world of Relink. So you have a group called the Six Dragons, which are the living personifications of different elements within Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which is light, dark, wind, fire, earth, water. All of those pretty much make up all the elements that exist within Grand Blue itself, and the elements that people are capable of using, the literal foundations that make up the world of Relink. The Six Dragons are essentially the living personifications of those individual elements. So, the fact that we are getting one of these dragons as a playable character, and she is the living embodiment of the very element of darkness itself. Meaning, while you have a lot of characters who are dark-type characters and can use the element, Fediel the Black is that element. She is literally, what we see from her. Matter of fact, let me pull up that video again so you can get a good look at Fediel again. I could always go to the website, but I'm gonna go here real quick.
Bring the earth together. Dissipate
right.
into...
Let's see if I can find where she's at. Fediel here, she is the living embodiment of darkness. You have others who are the living embodiment of light and water. They are those elements themselves. They are strong enough where if they assume their actual dragon forms, they could destroy the skies, the entire skies if they wanted. That's how strong they are. Sure, we heard a lot about all these different people who are incredibly powerful, you know, like Sofon and Tway-In, but the dragons themselves, they've been around since the very beginning of the skies. Like the very beginning of the world, they've been there ever since. Whereas you have Sandalphon, who's a supreme primarch of all the archangels in the game. And his job is for him and the other archangels to overlook the elements themselves that pretty much make up the world. They are only there to oversee them. Whereas the dragons, they are the elements themselves. So their control and superiority over them is significantly greater in comparison to like the angels and the primarchs. So, but for her to be playable, oh, I can't wait to see. First of all, don't even know what her weapon's going to be. Would very much love to see a gameplay of her to see just what she can do. And with her being as strong as she is, lore-wise, that is, I feel like she may be one of my characters that I kind of main, because right now I main Sandalphon, and after Sandalphon, it's Charlotta, and after Charlotta, I want to say it is Sandalphon, then Sofon, then Charlotta, and then after that, Gondagoza, because he's still one of my favorite characters to play. But Fediel may wind up being one of my new favorites as soon as she is playable, because I have a particular thing when it comes to characters whose lore based them off as being like absolutely astronomically powerful. I love playing those characters. I love playing characters like that in Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate, where you get to play as Odin, and Odin is one of the most powerful characters in the game, literally because he has a move where he can just snap his fingers and just stop time, which is correct in that game. And then you have games like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, where we get Sandalphon, who is just absolutely busted as well, especially if you put like the right good sigils on him. He's absolutely cracked. I can't wait to see how Fediel plays and how the new systems we have are going to work out. So with that, let's check out the summons and the conflux explanation. Let me know if this video is too loud. I'll turn it down.
Summons bring an all-new system to complement Relink's dynamic battles.
Is that a fire?
Play through the story.
Also, real quick, you can see all the ones that we can bring in. You got the Hornbird, you have the Evil, the Evil. It could be Evil or Evil Blackworm. We got a cat. That's a summon. Just a cat. Mechanized Executor 2, Silver Wolf Core 2, Quakedile 2, Garrison 2 as well.
To collect summonable allies and invoke them when you most
Goblin
need their
Warrior,
aid. No matter who you select, these mighty companions are always here to help. Some summons are controlled directly by the player, allowing for a powerful onslaught before they fade away. Others provide beneficial buffs to turn the tide of battle. You might say the options are endless. Invoking allies requires consuming a portion of the summons gauge, so make sure you're calling the right comrade at the right time for the right price. Huzzah for tactics! Now, have a smorgasbord of the summons awaiting in endless Ragnarok.
Even the little enemies that you would kill in order to Lucilius. The fact that we're getting Lucilius as a summon. The fact that we're getting Lucilius. And it looks like we can play as him while he's out. Because we see, combo and special attack. The fact that we get to play as Lucilius. And then you have another person playing Sandalphon. And you're both fighting the same person? Ooh, the potential. And we also get Rowan.
Happy to oblige.
Not playable in the traditional sense, but playable as a summon. Many people wanted Rowan to be playable in the main game.
Found it.
Sword Veil Fellowship.
From all-powerful primals to unassuming villagers, and even feisty felines, enlist a veritable plethora of allies to secure victory for the Sky Realm. Equipping summons will also provide buffs or passive stat boosts.
Now, right here, this is one of the more important parts, because so many of us have already optimized ourselves with our characters. And there's only so much you can do with sigils until you get them maxed out at like 15. But the fact that the summons that you have with you will make it so that you can increase your number even higher than that. Because if some of us have been using supplementary damage and we get it to a certain point, some of us may not have it maxed out. But with the summons, that you get those active boosts that boost your sigils that you have on you already, so that you can become even stronger with them equipped. So see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. When I love games, when I say I love games that give you way more avenues to become even more powerful, these are the types of games that I love.
Even outside of the action, summons are there to bolster your crew.
Even, and just like you said, these stats apply to you even outside of combat. You don't need to be in a major fight with that allows summons. You just literally have those boosts with you at all times. So people are seriously going to be seeing, okay, which summons can I use that is definitely going to be beneficial to me right now.
Finally, Primal Bursts are a new type of Chain Burst that cause Lyria to summon an ally for some bonus devastation. Entering Link Time will cue Lyria to begin channeling a Primal. She'll invoke the godlike being after the next full burst, which is accomplished when each party member uses their Skybound art in quick succession. Where you'll be treated to the might of a godly beast. With all the new challenges that await in Zega Grande, skillful use of summons will separate the Skyfarer.
You want to know what this reminds me of? This reminds me when you could call in a summon in Crisis Core. Like you would roll for the summon, then they pop up and they would have their own little animation. This reminds me of summoning creatures to fight with you in Crisis Core.
From the Sky Terrors. Of course, summons are also available during online co-op. Each new player who joins the party will yoink one of the summon slots from the host, so a party of 4 will have one summon each.
The leader
also,
gets the most
as everyone shares the summons gauge, the key to victory lies within playing nice with your teammates. There's no I in crew. Which summons the party brings, and when they unleash them, will greatly affect the tide of battle. To unlock summons, first finish Relink's main story and defeat Proto-Bahamut. Then, make progress in Endless Ragnarok's all-new story content to unlock Chaos-level quests and the ability to equip summons for the game's most difficult challenges.
We're gonna need to progress
You'll need
a little
them.
bit before we get our hands on it.
These stalwart allies should provide some much-needed
Also,
breathing
new
room.
enemies. Who's the big crab, though? And black armored goblin. The Conflux. This is going to be the one
The
that people
Conflux is a
come back
brand
to.
new addition to Relink and a special solo mode. Unlike the main
Wait a
story,
minute, hold on.
Relink
What did that say
and a
at the
special
bottom?
solo mode.
Rewards. Cycle 3 Procession. Rewards. Weapon uncap up to 6 stars and awakening materials. Required power level 9,000. Weapon uncap up to 6 stars. Did we have 6 stars on Grand Blue Fantasy Relink? I'm trying to remember if we did.
Unlike the main story or quests, would-be explorers will traverse randomized stages to discover what lies at the Conflux's treacherous depths.
Stay focused.
Surveys begin from the mysterious portals found in one of 2 locations, either the Seed Hollow backstreets or the Tridam Sanctuary. Each randomized locale features a different mission, which open up new portals when completed.
Yep. Choose a
HP and
road.
consumables persist between stages, so be cautious. An interdimensional labyrinth is not where you want to waste resources. Between pockets of space,
Okay, and we get to choose buffs. We get to choose buffs as we go into another room. This also reminds me of the Somnoir from Wuthering Waves as well, because when you run through the Somnoir, you are able to choose like different buffs you can put on yourself per room, and it can get crazy in the Somnoir. Also, with Risk of Rain, as another example, you pick up items and you become stronger over time that way as well. But here we have Crimson Bone. Let's see, elemental damage plus 5%, max boost 10% based on the number of dread auras acquired with a cap of 5. Then we have a fortification, fruit topped pancakes, damage cap plus 3%, and shield strength plus 5%. And then we have vitality, damage cap plus 10%. They tease me so much with all this cool stuff. They tease me.
explorers can power up with mode-exclusive buffs.
So wait, I'm looking at this. Can you just keep getting all these buffs? Because there's a lot of them in Vitality and Sequestration? And then Fortification. Oh no, there's more at the bottom. There's more. All of this is only 25%, and there's trophy for this? There's trophies for this? So there's even more buffs than just vitality, sequestration, and fortification. How far does it go? Oh, wait. Go back. Critical hit rate. Brave scale. Max boost 20% based on the number of vitality auras acquired. Mysticism of Mellows. Or of Mellows. Damage dealt plus 10% against foes of the weaker element.
And the deeper the party delves, the stronger they'll grow, ramping up for a fresh style of adventure new to Relink.
Yeah, I can't wait to
dive into the deepest.
Let's see, and it shows you all the buffs that you have on top of your screen. Defeat Conflux Jeweled Golem. Don't enter critical condition too often. Don't get inflicted with stumble too often. Make a Jeweled Golem stumble 2 times.
Reaches of an area, and a boss will rise to halt your advance. Take them out to officially end a survey and
So looking at this, you can see what you can choose. You got 5-star bounty, 6-star bounty, Ascension's Awakening, Terminus's Awakening, Copper Trove of Merit, Sigils of the Maniac, Sigils of the Proud, and Primeval God's Blessings. I don't even know what that last one is.
Tons of materials to upgrade weapons and sigils.
Hold on. What did that say?
To officially end a survey and
Okay, so if we go back. Alright, so 5-star bounty contains treasure for uncapping weapons up to 5 times.
And
6-star bounty contains treasure for fully uncapping weapons.
Tons of materials.
Ascension's Awakening contain treasure for awakening Ascension weapons. Mind you, I haven't done that for myself.
To upgrade weapons and sigils.
Let me look at the rest. And I'm seeing a lot of materials here, a lot from bosses. I'm seeing Vulcan Bola. I'm seeing that. I am seeing the Horn of Angra Mainyu. I see some sigils for Galanza and Magliel. I'm seeing one that looks like it's coming from Furiken. I'm seeing a lot of materials that one needs in order to get the stuff, in order to max out your weapons. I'm seeing a lot of those.
With Relinks bursting at the seams cast, and with even more crewmates on
Fortitude Crystals 12. Oh, is that Silver Centrum? Because I need a lot of Silver Centrum.
their way in Endless Ragnarok, exploring the Conflux is the preferred way for progression-oriented Skyfarers to upgrade their entire crew.
They're also reducing the amount you need in order to upgrade your weapons so that the grind isn't as long as it used to be in the base game, which is another thing I'm looking forward to. Because while I don't mind grinding in Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, there are times when I wish, I didn't get that part I needed, and I've been at this for like 2.5 hours.
Conflux stages are random and change with every dive. In addition to monster-infested rifts, the Conflux contains special stages, like games of chance.
Okay, hold on. Let's look at that wheel. So, we got the Conflux wheel. Gold is receive 1 random 3-star aura, includes Chaos auras. Red, receive 1 random 3-star aura, normal. And then blue, receive 1 random 2-star aura, includes Chaos auras. And then green is receive 1 random 1-star or 2-star aura.
Chance, special rare encounters, or even treasure rooms. Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.
Or even treasure rooms. Ka-ching.
What's this?
Conflux-specific upgrades can make traversal even more effective, like the progression cherry on top. First, obtain resonance or conflux points by completing surveys.
See, the thing that gets me is that this whole mode has its own skill tree! It was unnecessary. They didn't need to go this far. They didn't need to do all of this. They didn't need to do all of this at all.
Then spin them to start new dives with supercharged abilities. Or
select an aura. Oh, you can select one?
Or save them to purchase powerful buffs while mid-exploration. The Conflux first unlocks after completing Chapter 6 of Relink's main story. Deeper areas unlock as the story continues to unfurl. The deepest areas promise the greatest rewards. This means intrepid adventurers should brave the depths to improve their faves. Speaking of, thank you for braving this introduction of Summons in the Conflux. You've unlocked mighty new powers. As for future previews, we'll have more to announce soon. So stay tuned, Skyfarers.
See, the thing is, they're doing all this, and I know for a fact that we're going to be... I don't know where that yawn came from. We're going to be... They're talking about, like, the Conflux and Summons and everything, but we're going to get to the point where they are going to talk about the master traits, which is a new thing that they're adding to the game that can make our characters even stronger. So I cannot wait for that. I can't wait for that. Now, there was something else that I wanted to check out. Oh, here's another game that I'm keeping an eye on. Disgaea Mayhem. Was there anything new 4 weeks ago? Release date trailer. This is essentially like a Disgaea Musou. And for those of you who don't know what the Disgaea series is, it is one where it's the game where you are encouraged to get to level 999 or 9,999. Or in the case of, I think it was Disgaea 6, you could get to level 9,999,999, where your every attack was just doing billions of damage. And just the very thought that, hey, you're allowed to get to this many levels, I can't think of another game that goes, hey, you can become this powerful. Your level is in the millions. This is stuff that you would see in an anime or like a game isekai of some kind. You just don't see that in games a whole lot.
Come on.
The thing that gets me is that I find the art design endearing. I don't think it's like, oh, the graphics are simplistic. I see something that I feel like I can sink a whole lot of hours into. And this drops in July as well. PlayStation. So not only are we getting Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, we're also getting Granblue Fantasy Relinks Endless Ragnarok expansion, and we're getting Disgaea Mayhem as well. So July might also be yet another busy month for me. Okay, I gotta figure out what's going on with how you guys can't see everything that you're saying. I might need to just change the chat window back to where it was before and then just worry about the little part just staying around later. Because part of what you guys have said was just left out entirely. Okay, sorry about that. Back to it. Now, let's see if we can find a good video. I mean, we've already seen, well, we haven't seen it. I've seen it. The resynced official game trailer. And I think Rad Brad played through it. 2026 and still not a single kaiju game? Don, that's what I'm saying. You mean to tell me that we're still getting new seasons and new episodes of Godzilla, Monarch of Monsters, or whatever it's called? We're still getting episodes of that. We're getting another Godzilla movie, but we can't get a single Godzilla game? Really? All right, real quick. Let me see if I can find something. Because I'm checking up on game news. Hey, Lego Batman. I'm going to be recording more Lego Batman after I'm done with this session because I got the second part up already and the game is already immensely fun. But let me see here. Gaming wise, things have been, I won't say they've been quite light, but with Summer Game Fest coming out literally the week after next, because we got one more full week of May. Yeah, we got one more full week of May and then we're done. Oh, wow. Also, last day of May is going to be on the 31st. So my One Piece Reflections is going to have to wait until Monday because that'll just be too packed for me to do. Yeah, it'll be way too packed for me to do. But gaming wise, I mean, I'm pretty good on games. I mean, I got Sandland. That just came by. I had that delivered because I wanted to play Sandland, which was one of the games with Akira Toriyama's name on it, I want to say after his passing. And I've been wanting to play it for quite a while, but just never got around to it. So I just bought Sandland, and that's probably going to be like a 1 hour throwback that I do. And then I'll just play the game on my own time unless you guys want to see it. But, I don't want to overstuff myself with all sorts of things that I want to do. But, yeah, I'm going to be messing with Sandland for a bit. Yo, Kitty, it's good to see you. Oh, snap, I forgot. There is another video that I'm supposed to be looking at. There is another video. There's supposed to be another one. I forgot. You sent me something. Okay, now I'm going to open it up. I haven't looked at the image. What is this? Growing up in the 1990s, we were the last to
If you grew up in the 1990s, you remember a time before every...
Okay, what y'all know about some cassette tapes? What y'all know about a VCR and having to rewind it back? What you know? What do you know? What do you know? Some of y'all don't know nothing about that. Some of y'all don't know nothing about mixtapes. Not mixed CDs, mixtapes. Some of y'all don't know nothing about no 8-track. Some of y'all don't know nothing about rewind. You mean you can't just hit a button and just go straight to the beginning? You gotta wait for it? Nah, back when I was growing up, we didn't have DVDs as kids. We had VHS tapes, or you tune in. See, this is why Kitty is the GOAT. Because when I'm thinking like, only a couple of videos that people sent in, well, I gotta figure out something else to do, because that's exactly what I was doing. But Kitty comes in clutch with something that I can just take off with and talk about. Thank you! You want to know something? You're awesome. You are awesome. Because I was thinking to myself, well, I could just look at some stuff for myself and then just react to it, but I don't know if it'll have the same effect on some people. And then Kitty comes in clutch with a absolutely worthy video that I can conversate about. Because this is what we 90s kids grew up with. We didn't know nothing about YouTube wasn't a thing back then. Online forums wasn't a thing. We were either inside playing video games or playing with our toys, or we were outside. Either one of those two places. Had a lot of it. It was my dominoes, make a long line and push the last one. Yeah, we had plenty of VHS tapes. Peter Pan, 101 Dalmatians, the live action version. Back when Disney actually cared about doing live action versions of old films. George of the Jungle, Lion King. Like, I remember to this day, it's always odd for me to hear The Circle of Life and not hear this weird verbal distortion in the VHS tapes, in the VHS tape that we have. Because when they did the Circle of Life in the live action, when they did the Circle of Life in the Lion King movie, in the Lion King on the VHS, there was a certain part where they're singing that the audio distorts minorly. And then it kind of, not only that, but actually the whole video distorts. It kind of distorts a little bit and then it goes back to normal. So hearing the song without that distortion felt weird to me because all I ever known was just that audio visual distortion in that video itself, watching The Lion King. And then when you get to the end, you gotta wait for it to rewind. Okay, let's get started with this because I'm gonna talk about all sorts of different things that pop up here. VHS and cassette tapes. Let's go.
Everything went digital. Listen, if you grew up in the 1990s, you remember a time before everything went digital. Listening to music on CD players, hoping the disc wouldn't skip. Sitting on the internet and praying no one picked up the phone in the middle of.
Why are you attacking us 90 kids so personally? CD players, you had to make sure they had no scratches. You had to make sure no one was using the phone when you tried to get on the internet because you couldn't use both at the same time. This shows you how far technology has gone for those of us who grew up in the 90s onwards. Stuff that is literally not even an inconvenience now and can run simultaneously. Used to be you can either choose this or this, not both.
Of a download. And of course, Friday night internet and praying no one picked up the phone in the middle of a download.
I remember this. This is what the download screen was. You didn't have Google Chrome that shows the download in the top corner. You didn't have like a little bar that popped up on your screen that shows you how much your progress was going. No, you had only this. Let me full screen this because I got upgraded stuff so I can full screen stuff now. This is what you saw. And you had to hope and pray that the stuff being downloaded from the internet globe, the World Wide Web globe on the side, made it all the way to the folder that you're downloading stuff with. And you better hope that it goes all the way across. I almost touched my screen there. I don't want to touch it. But yeah, better hope that that blue bar filled up all the way. And the thing is, 1 minute and 9 seconds to download 24 megabytes. Whereas you download anything that's like 100 megabytes, it doesn't even take that long. Minutes to download something that's barely takes up any space on your computer, on your phone, on your gaming console, whatever it is. Stuff like this, it took a while. And if it got interrupted, you had to redo the whole thing over again and hope and pray no one got on the phone again.
And of course, Friday night trips to the video store weren't just routine.
What y'all know about Blockbuster? What do y'all know about Blockbuster? Oh my goodness. My childhood. Oh, my childhood.
They were part of how we lived. This is growing up in the 1990s.
Floppy disks. Or weather interfering with the TV? Yes. If it was stormy, you better hope that it didn't mess with your antenna on top of your house. Otherwise, you weren't watching TV. Floppy disks. Floppy disks. This is where a lot of people's games came from. You see, Wolfenstein 3D, episode 1 through 4. Sometimes you had needed multiple floppy disks in order to continue playing an entire game. You got Doom over on the side as well.
90s. We were the last to really live. In the early 90s, CD players started replacing cassette Walkmans, and it felt like a big upgrade. No more rewinding tapes or flipping sides. Just pop in a disc and skip straight to your favorite track. The sound was clearer, more polished, especially compared to worn-out cassettes, but they weren't perfect.
Ideal proving ground for the Sony Discman with ESP. We developed ESP technology.
Most of us remember walking around trying not to jostle the thing, because even with anti-skip tech, a small bump could make the music jump ahead mid-song. People carried them flat in one hand like a tray, just to
All right,
keep
kitty,
things
see
steady.
you later.
Still,
You
it
enjoy
was
the rest
worth
of your
it.
day.
CDs
'Cause,
felt like the
this-
future, even if you had to
So many
babysit the
memories. I
player.
remember my family owned
There was something
multiple
about
CD
making
players
mixtapes that was
and
just
multiple
magic.
headphones.
The task of hitting record at the right moment, trying to avoid the DJ talking over the song, and hoping you
Is this voice AI? Because no one says, if you're going to record something, you don't say like, hey, allow me to record this video. I want to record this. I want to record this on video. No human says that. This is an AI voiceover, isn't it? No one says record if they're about to record something. It's record.
about making mixtapes that was just magic. The task of hitting record at the right moment, trying to avoid the DJ talking over the song, and hoping you didn't end up with an awkward fade out at the end. It was an art form. We made them for ourselves, for our crushes, or just to share with friends. The mix of songs on a single tape told a story. And then, as CDs took over, we switched to burning our mixes onto discs.
Hold on, let's see who we have on this Sony CDR 700 megabyte disc. So I see Spice Girls, Savage Garden, NSYNC, Miley Cyrus, Glee, Britney Spears. Who's that? Jason Mraz? Michael Creek? Who's this? August something? BNL, Katy Perry, Jamiroquai, I don't know. FOB, Nickelback, We the Kings, Paramore, Black Eyed Peas, Good Charlotte, Mayday Parade, Kevin Rudolph, Fall Out Boy, 22 tracks. Memories.
Discs. Too bad kids today will never really know the thrill of exchanging a mixtape with a friend. Or
they won't even know what it's like to have
too bad kids today will never really know
headphones that was literally just this bud part, but it was attached to that thin wire that is the band that goes over your head for.
The thrill of exchanging a mixtape with a friend, or the rush of hearing that perfect song when you hit play. And don't say you never made a mixtape back in the day.
I did.
Friday nights used to mean grabbing a worn-out VHS tape, sliding it into the VCR, and hitting play. Whether it was a movie you owned or one you rented from the corner video store, there was something special about watching it on your own TV. The picture was grainy. The tracking sometimes needed adjusting, but that was part of the charm. And remember those insert sheets that came with new blank tapes? We had dozens of them, always nearby, just in case.
Thornberries? I saw Thornberries. Hold on. Let's see. Cartoon Network Various. Ed, Edd n Eddy. Roly-Poly-Oly? Okay. Some of these VHS tapes are kind of goated. I see Roly-Poly-Oly. I see Scooby-Doo. I see Courage the Cowardly Dog. Babar the Elephant. Anthony Ant. What is that? Low Cartoon, Looney Tunes, Country Music, City Mouse, George Martha. I see Nickelodeon shows 2003. Halster, good to see you. What is that? Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. Anger Management Movie. Adam Sandler, King of Queens, Popeye, Flintstones, SpongeBob, Looney Tunes, cartoons, and yeah, cartoons. I'm looking at these VHS tapes. I'm seeing my childhood all over. Cartoons, Courage, etc. Cartoon, Dexter. There's a lot of these VHS tapes that's just straight cartoons. 2002, Three's Company, Blue's Clues, Rugrats, Little Bear, Madeline. What do you know? What do you know about some Madeline and Little Bear? The Muppets, Rugrats again. Rugrats Vacation, Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry's a goated. Let's see, Looney Tunes. Something the Squirrel. There's a lot of Nickelodeon tapes here. I'm trying to read all of them. The Brave Little Toaster. Wow, there's a lot of VHS tapes which is recorded over movies and stuff that I grew. What is that? The Three Stooges? Okay, the whole set. You got the Three Stooges on VHS tape. You're all right with me. So many memories.
The soft whir as the tape loaded, that satisfying click, it meant you were in for a good time, right there in your living room.
Okay, we can play it on my brother's computer.
Okay, no problem. All we gotta do is...
Before flash drives or cloud storage, we had floppy disks. And I mean floppy. If you're old enough, you might remember the big 8-inch ones. Or
this is the first I'm seeing of like the big size floppy disk. The one on the bottom right is what me and my family had multiples of. And the fact that they could only hold so much space, 1.44 megabytes on a floppy disk? And you mean to tell me that Doom and Wolfenstein would play on these? This was our physical media. This was our physical gaming media. Back then.
Or those 5 1/4-inch discs that actually bent when you held them. But most of us used the 3.5-inch kind.
Yep,
the hard plastic ones with that
had.
Little metal slider. I used to pull it back with my finger just to hear it snap shut.
Yeah,
and when your
I did
computer
that too.
started reading it,
I did that too.
clicking and whirring sound meant your files were, hopefully, loading. It wasn't high capacity, but back then, it felt like the future. There was a time when Friday nights meant heading to the video rental store, whether it was Blockbuster, Hollywood Video.
I've been to both. I've been to Hollywood Video and Blockbuster. I remember that it was Blockbuster where I played my first 3D Mortal Kombat game. Yeah. And I think the very first Mortal Kombat game I played, I think was Mortal Kombat Armageddon. No, it was Shaolin Monks. It was from Blockbuster. Rented Shaolin Monks. And I think that might be my first truly rated M game before even Resident Evil 4, because many times I've said like Resident Evil 4 was the first rated M game I ever played, but it was actually the first rated M game I ever bought. But Shaolin Monks, I want to say, was among some of the first rated M games I played. And I got it from Blockbuster. And I remember playing so many games on my Nintendo 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. My dad played plenty of games that we rented from Blockbuster. Back when Blockbuster allowed you to rent games as far back as the N64. My goodness. Oh. And the fact that Blockbuster is... Well, there's only one Blockbuster left, and I think it's in Canada, isn't it? It is in Toronto or someplace? Or Quebec?
Or Suncoast. You'd grab your membership card.
The Blockbuster membership card. I can't remember if my parents had one of those.
Ready to pick out your weekend movie haul. New releases were a big deal, and you'd always hope the latest Blockbuster was still available, because they were in high demand, and if you weren't fast enough, you'd end up with something else. The shelves were lined with VHS tapes, and the excitement of picking out the perfect one, then racing home to watch it, was its own kind of magic.
Thankfully, I didn't have to worry about a bus plowing through the entire video store.
No streaming, no instant access, just the thrill of picking a movie off the shelf. Remember that unforgettable sound when you connected to the internet? That screeching, buzzing noise that seemed to go on forever?
The amount of times I heard that specific sound was countless. It was absolutely countless how many times I heard that.
You knew you were about to dive into something new, but it always felt like an adventure or a test of patience. If someone in the house picked up the phone while you were online, it was like losing all progress, especially if you were downloading a file and everything would reset from the beginning. It wasn't uncommon to hear your mom yelling, "Don't pick up the phone, I'm waiting for an important call." And don't forget that heart-pounding moment when the screen finally loaded and that iconic "You've got mail" popped up. A simple message, but it felt like you had won the internet lottery back then. Pogs were one of those things that defined the 90s.
But look, I got some cool Pogs. Elf Pogs. Remember Elf?
They were everywhere, at school, in kids' pockets, and on the playground. The game itself was simple, but the fun...
I remember having some of these, but I never understood the game. I never understood the game when I saw so many kids have these. And I would get them from like either cereal boxes or just random box toys things, but I never truly understood the relevancy of Pogs and why they were so popular. It was like, am I just throwing these things on top of other people's chips?
Fun was endless. You'd gather with friends, each with their own stack of Pogs, ready to battle it out. The goal? Knock the other person's Pogs out of the stack using your own. But it wasn't just about the game. It was about the excitement of collecting them, trading them with friends, and showing off your best ones. Every Pog was a little piece of nostalgia, and that feeling of victory when you won a trade or knocked out a rare one was unbeatable. Saturday mornings in the 90s were a magical time.
Literally, the whole reason that us as kids would look forward to the weekend when we got out of school, Saturday morning cartoons were unlike any other. They were so amazing, and something feels like it's right here on the edge of my eye. It's actually been bothering me for the past couple of days, and I don't know what it is. And I keep trying to push it down, but whatever it is, it does not want to come out to the edge so I can actually get rid of it. It's actually quite annoying because every time I move my eye, I feel it right there. But Saturday morning cartoons is what many of us look forward to, especially in the in the morning when we would have some breakfast and we could watch some of our favorite shows on TV.
TV was our window to a world of adventure, and it all started with a bowl of cereal.
The Banana Splits! Memories! I remember this show! And who knows of Bananas in Pajamas? Because I used to own one of them. A plush toy of it where if you press the hand, they would sing the theme song of Bananas. Bananas in pajamas are coming down the stairs. Like, I remember that. I remember that show!
In hand. New episodes of Winnie the Pooh.
I'm gonna be stopping this video every couple of seconds, aren't I? The old cartoon of the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Like, on Disney in the morning. You know, back when Disney Channel was a major thing back then. When Disney was done, they would stop showing all the kid shows in the beginning and all the more like teen-related shows, Disney shows, you know, like Famous Jet Jackson or Recess or House of Mouse. Then they would have a moment where it's like, okay, now we're gonna have more adult-oriented shows that come on so that the adults can enjoy it all the way from like 6 or 7 o'clock. All the way until like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then one of the first shows that comes on is Winnie the Pooh. I remember because sometimes I would be up early and I would sometimes watch it just because I loved the show.
Scooby-Doo and Beetlejuice would kick off.
I remember I was just listening to this show's theme song earlier this week because one of the things I remember from the Beetlejuice TV show was it was an episode where apparently his feet rebelled against him, and they literally just left his body and went on and did their own thing in one episode. I can't remember what that episode was called, but literally Beetlejuice's feet literally came off and was all like, "Yeah, we don't want to be around you no more," and just went off on their own. I can't remember what that episode is called though.
Off the weekend. Each show a new adventure to
Super
dive
Friends,
into.
I didn't watch
the
much
excitement
of
of discovering what was coming next
I think
kept
I
us
remember
glued
watching a
to the
little
screen,
bit of the
while the theme songs became
Ghostbusters.
the soundtrack.
Conjunction Junction, Schoolhouse Rock. So you got one of two things. You got two things. You got wonderful animation, and you got education as well. Conjunctions. verbs and adjectives and nouns, and you learn all about this stuff. You learn about American history, all thanks to just people singing like Mother Necessity, where would we be? Like you would get those songs, or like Lolly, 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 get your adverbs here. Like there's so many songs from School of Rock that I remember growing up with, that I remember to this day. We hiked along without care, doon 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 doon. Then we ran into a bear, doon 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 doon. He was a scary bear, he was a hairy bear. We made a hasty retreat from his lair. Then we unpacked our adjectives. Oh, I miss them so much. Just when I was a kid and I would watch this stuff, I enjoyed it because I liked music, but I also enjoyed it because I was learning. It wasn't like they were beating me over the head in school for me to just learn this stuff. No, I just enjoyed it because I loved it.
Of our childhood. Saturdays weren't just about cartoons.
DuckTales!
They were about the simple joy of the weekend and all the possibilities it brought. And when the cartoons ended, well,
Teenage
it was
Mutant
time
Ninja
to go
Turtles?
outside and start our own adventures.
Yeah. When the cartoons weren't on, we were outside. We were either playing with our toys inside, or we were playing with our friends or toys outside. Either one of those two things.
Back in the early 90s, smoking was everywhere. It's hard to believe, but you could even light up inside a McDonald's. Remember?
Yeah, smoking was definitely everywhere. Everywhere. It was on TV. It was in every show. They had literal commercials dedicated to telling you how great it was to smoke. And you would see this in like the early 40s, all the way up until like a certain point in the 2000s. That's when they started to phase it out. Because they wanted to substitute it for vaping, even though vaping is still just as dangerous as smoking regular, because you're inhaling all sorts of different things while you're vaping. Vaping is not safer than smoking. Just because you can make your smoke smell like cotton candy or some fruit juice does not mean that is actually safer. Because even though you're making it so it's more pleasant for people to be around, that's still bad. It's still bad for you.
Remember those little foil ashtrays they had on the tables? It wasn't just fast food joints. People smoked in restaurants, on planes, and even in movie theaters. The air was thick with it, and nobody thought twice, whether it was after a meal or with a drink at the bar.
Like, look at that. They are literally praising the very act of smoking, even though smoking can kill you. I feel like people really overlook the fact that, nicotine getting into your lungs will start to kill your lungs. It'll start to rot them from within. Like, have you ever seen a flower die? Watch something so beautiful, so full of life, collapse and rot from within. That is literally the process of the human body when you're constantly taking in cigarettes and smoke. Cigars, not good for you. Cigarettes, not good for you. Vaping, not good for you. Nicotine in general, tobacco is not good. But these commercials back then would tell you it's cool to do it. It's fun to do it. You'll be the coolest person in the room if you smoke. They literally had entire segments of commercials dedicated to telling you how good it is to smoke. It's insane what sort of addictions the world would try to put you on back then, and then try to do that right now. But really,
smoking was just part of the experience. It's hard to imagine now, but thankfully, bans on smoking in these places came soon after, making the air a little cleaner for everyone. Disposable cameras were everywhere.
hitting every single aspect of my childhood. You take photos with this baby, you have to go to a special store or a section of Walmart in order to get them developed. Wasn't nothing like, you could just hit a button on your phone and then you could immediately take a picture and then you can upload that picture to the internet. Wasn't nothing like that. You had to get disposable cameras. Some of them could be used with batteries, some without, but you always had these disposable cameras that had film inside. It wasn't digital. No digital. Wasn't digital at all. You had to go to a store and have them developed. And then you would have to wait because developing photos takes time. It was not instant. I can take a photo of my desktop right now. Boom. I already got it. It's developed, it's high quality, and it's exactly the way I want to look at it. But if you take a picture with a disposable camera, you gotta wait because it takes time for actual photos to develop into actual, hard copies that you can hang up in a picture frame. Those took time. Now the process is way faster than it's ever been before. But back then, there were some times where you had to wait days for your photos to get developed. Crazy. One thing that traumatized me about smoking was seeing someone hold a device to their neck just to speak. Therefore, I refuse to ever smoke. Oh yeah, some people have smoked so much they literally the acid. And you know what? Real quick, I want to look this up. Okay. Real quick, I want to look up all of the things that happens to your body when you smoke. Check this out. This is from the clevelandclinic.org health article. So, when happens, let's see, this is the process. You light the cigarette and hold it to your mouth. The heat from burning the cigarette releases nicotine and creates tar. Tar in your lungs. As you bring the cigarette to your lips, the tar stains your nails. The smoke dries out and inflames your skin, deepening wrinkles. So smoking will also make you look older than you actually are. Inhaling smoke through your nose damages nerve endings. Over time, this reduces your sense of smell. So it's bad for your entire body, but every facet of your life gets affected by it. All of your senses get affected by it. Though I don't know about eyes, but over time, if you smoke too much, it will ruin your nerve endings within your nose to the point where you will not be able to smell like you used to. Your ability to smell will actually be reduced. So, when you take a puff from the cigarette, it goes through a filter. It mostly keeps you from breathing in large particles. Notice that it says mostly, which means that you're still breathing in particles, but some of them are being held back. But tar, nicotine, and other chemicals still get through. Tar. I don't think people are really paying attention to the whole fact that you're just intaking tar into your system. The tar stains your teeth and coats your gums and tongue. It damages your tooth enamel, puts you at risk for tooth decay and gum disease, and reduces your ability to taste foods you love. Okay, those are two senses that have been heavily dulled by nicotine. The tar coats your throat and vocal cords as it moves towards your lungs. This might make you cough. Also, since it coats your vocal cords is what you need in order to speak. So, when you hear people who have smoked for many years and their voices literally change, it's because the tar on that person's body within their throat and their vocal cords has permanently dampened and changed their entire ability to speak as a whole. This might make you cough. Traveling through your airways, tar and hydrogen cyanide. Cyanide! Cyanide. A poisonous gas paralyzes your cilia, Like bristles on a broom, cilia are hair-like strands whose job is to trap and sweep germs and other harmful particles out of your lungs. When they're damaged, you're more likely to get sick with respiratory infections. Smoke fills your lungs and enters your bloodstream. When the smoke reaches your lungs, it travels to the small air sacs, the alveoli, and damages them. This can lead to emphysema, a form of COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. From your alveoli, carbon monoxide in the smoke moves into your blood. It bumps oxygen out of your red blood cells, starving your cells and tissue. No, I'm going deep diving into this because you guys need to know. The lack of oxygen can make you feel short of breath. Your cells sound the alarm to let your body know you need more oxygen, but this causes inflammation and mucus to form, making it even harder to breathe. While traveling through your bloodstream, nicotine damages the lining of your blood vessels. This thickens and narrows them and causes blood cells to stick to them, putting you at risk for blood clots, heart attack, and stroke. For men, we're going to skip past that part. Chemicals move through your bloodstream to the rest of your body. Once in your blood, chemicals from cigarette smoke travel throughout your body. This damages your bones. Nicotine decreases the absorption of calcium and the production of bone-forming cells, causing you to have thinner, brittler bones. Eyes. The chemicals in cigarettes plus a lack of oxygen damages your eyes. This can lead to macular degeneration, cataracts, and vision loss. Immune system. Smoking causes constant inflammation and weakens your immune system. This makes you more likely to get sick and develop autoimmune diseases. Nicotine can cause hormone changes that can affect your fertility. And then DNA. Arsenic, nickel, and radioactive polonium damage your DNA and block the tools your body uses to repair it. And then, of course, and we can skip the rest of that because you guys... Nicotine reaches your brain. From your blood, nicotine heads to your brain. There, it activates receptors that release dopamine, adrenaline, endorphins, serotonin, and other feel-good signals in your brain. This is where a nicotine buzz comes from. It's like nicotine pushing buttons to make you more relaxed, content, or energized. It's only been seconds since you inhaled that first puff of smoke. All of this just ruins your entire being. So going back in time and seeing all these commercials encouraging this, crazy. And the people who smoke will just say, like, I can quit anytime I want to. Oh, it's not that bad. I'm just coughing a little bit. It's just something got caught up in my throat. And the thing is, when you have people who smoke, they will give you every excuse as to why they don't need to quit or why it's not that bad. The thing with smoking is it affects people mentally to the point where they see absolutely nothing wrong with smoking all the time when it is killing them. I don't think people, you need it, and y'all need to hear me in the back. This stuff will kill you. I don't think people realize this. So seeing that for us 90 kids, we still had commercials that said, like, now you don't have to smoke as much. Now you can just, dip snuff and just put the whole thing on the side of your cheek. Like, what? That's disgusting. And then you just hold it in your mouth? Why? Nasty.
Everywhere back in the day, you'd take them to birthdays, weddings, parties, really any event worth remembering. No one had phones in their pockets, just those little plastic cameras. You'd snap a few photos and hope for the best, then wait days to get them developed.
Yep,
the fun was in the surprise. Half the shots were blurry, someone's eyes were closed, but it didn't matter. Even now you can still find them, bringing back that old school charm. Before Google and smartphones, there was
It's never easy to quit cold turkey. It takes time and it's a process. See, here's the thing. I'm not knocking people who want to quit. But I will knock the people who say, like, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I'ma keep doing it. and then complain about how they don't feel as good as they used to. Those are the people I'm knocking. People who want to quit and actually go through the process of quitting and go like, hey, I've been sober from smoking for some years. I commend those people because it's not easy to break something where your body has literally changed in order to crave that one thing. Some addictions are very hard to break. For the people who do break them, I commend them. It's the people who say like, I don't care what happens to me, I'm gonna keep doing it. I feel nothing for them because people have already been given warnings. It literally says it on the very packaging itself, but people ignore that because they just want the hit. So for those people, I don't feel any sort of way about it. Those who quit and those who work towards quitting, I commend them because that takes an enormous amount of willpower to say, I don't want to keep doing this thing that is eventually going to put me in the ground. The people who don't, you've been warned.
Carta, the encyclopedia on a CD-ROM that felt like the future. You'd pop it into your computer and spend hours exploring, clicking from one topic to the next.
Before Wikipedia, before we had the internet at our fingertips where we were able to look up anything we wanted for education, we would either have to go to the library for books, or we would pop in what was literally the precursor for the Rosetta Stone computer programs back then.
Out of pure curiosity. It wasn't just for school projects. Sometimes you'd dive into it just for the fun of learning. There were sound clips, timelines, even short videos, and of course, Mind Maze, the trivia game that made you feel like a genius. Back then, it felt like having the whole world right there on your screen. There was a time when every road trip started with unfolding a big paper map across the kitchen table.
Yep.
You'd trace your route with a finger, maybe even highlight it with a marker. Most of us kept one stuffed in the glove box, just in case. They'd get worn at the creases and sometimes torn, but they never ran out of battery or lost signal. Even today, if you're out in the middle of nowhere with no internet, that old folded-up map might just save the day. It wasn't the most convenient, but it did the...
How did they not see them sneaking past them? Because they're stealing their hubcaps. How did they not see these people just trying to sneak past them? Because ain't nobody in my car gonna be looking like, let's just pay attention to what this person's saying. I'm checking all of my surroundings, making sure ain't nobody trying to sneak up.
Folded-up map might just save the day. It wasn't the most convenient, but it did the job, and there was something rewarding about figuring it out as you went. In the days before the internet made walkthroughs and cheat...
I used to own so many cheat magazines. I remember one magazine I had, I think it was either... And I think we looked this up one day. We looked this up one day when we were going through like old magazines. I think it was in the same stream when I was talking about Game Informer and the different magazines that I used to own when I first got magazines from them and how far back with Game Informer I've gone. But gaming magazines that told you exactly what you needed to do. Like, who remembers video game guides? Like, the big, thick guides. Hold on, I got one right here. Who remembers the big video game guides? This is the special... This is the Batman Arkham City game guide. Like an entire guide to do everything. Riddler trophies, everything from Arkham City. And I believe I got this alongside the original Batman Arkham City game because I also have like the special lithographs that came with it, like the special stuff that came with it, and those are still sealed. I never opened them. Matter of fact, they're right here. Here, all of these different images. It's still sealed to this day. It's still sealed in the plastic, and it came with the guide. because I remember going to the midnight release for Batman Arkham City and also to the midnight release of Batman Arkham Knight as well. But man, gaming magazines and game guides. Before the internet just gave us everything we needed to know at the press of a button, physical guides. And the other video game guides I have is one of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance and the Red Dead Redemption game guide before the company that makes those guides closed down. So many memories.
Codes easy to find. Gaming magazines were...
Let me see. Game Informer. Let me see. Game Pro. Electronic Gaming Monthly. PSM. Tips and Tricks. Those were the cheats. Was the cheat magazines I always looked at. Whenever me and my... Because this was back during when I was living in Germany with my... when we were all living in Germany. I would always, and we would go to the PX because we lived on an army base. We would go to the PX, and I would always make my way over to the, magazine section, and then look for brand new cheat magazines for some of the games that I got. And if they didn't have them, I'm like, then there's no codes for the game. But when they did have them, I would try to memorize them. And I only had like a couple of Tips and Tricks magazines when I was a kid. It was when I was a kid. Before I really became a teenager, these were the sort of magazines that I would be reading all the time.
Our go-to guides. Magazines like Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Pro, and Tips and Tricks were practically like treasure maps, leading us to the best tips, cheats, and reviews. Each issue was a mini event. We'd flip through the pages, finding new tricks to try or sneak peeks at upcoming games.
Yep.
It was a world of gaming discovery before the days of online forums or YouTube tutorials. You had to wait, savor it, and sometimes even fight for the best tips. Paying by check might seem old-fashioned now, but back in the day, it was the standard way to handle most transactions. Whether you were
Yeah. If you wanted to pay someone back then a hefty sum of money, you didn't just say like, hey, what's this app that I can just enter your information in and then I could just send the money to you? Wasn't no USAA app. Wasn't no Venmo. Wasn't no PayPal. Wasn't no Cash App. You either gave people money in their hand or you would give them checks. And then they would say stuff like, don't try to cash it early. It's not going to be there. You wait until, because otherwise the check is going to bounce. And as a kid, I never understood the concept of a check bouncing because I never understood what that term meant. But growing up, I was like, you want to make sure that the check doesn't, bounce back from the fact that the funds are not available at the moment.
paying your rent, your electric bill, or picking up a new appliance. Writing a check was just part of life. And let's not forget those carbon copy checkbooks, where you'd always have a record of your payment for later. It may have taken longer to clear than swiping a card, but it felt more personal somehow, like you were really in control of your money. Plus, writing checks meant you had to plan ahead, not just buy whatever on a whim. Flying in the 90s became more accessible to the average person. With the rise of budget airlines and more affordable fares, flying wasn't just for the wealthy anymore. It felt like a new era of travel, where people from all walks of life could hop on a plane and explore new places. There were still no long security lines or tight regulations, and it felt more relaxed. Traveling in the 90s had a different kind of charm. It wasn't always the most comfortable, but it felt special. PB Crisps were a beloved snack from the 90s, shaped like peanuts and packed with delicious fillings like peanut butter, chocolate.
I never had these. And I'm kind of upset that I never had these. PB Crisps? I want to try these. I know you probably can't get them now anymore because, you know, they're old, but I want to try these. These look like they could be good. I'm kind of hungry too.
Or even peanut butter and jelly. Their crunchy outer shell and smooth, creamy filling created the perfect snack experience. Whether you grabbed them for a quick snack after school or packed them in your lunch, they were a staple for many. Sadly, PB Crisps are no longer around, but for those who remember, they still bring back those tasty memories of the 90s. What comes to mind when you think of the 90s? I'd love to hear your memories in the comments. And if you enjoyed this little trip back in time, don't forget to subscribe for more nostalgic content coming your way.
Yeah. Oh, that just hit me in the feels. Just remembering so many moments from the '90s. Power Rangers and Big Bad Beetleborgs. All these different shows that we grew up with. I don't think Mike Lou and Og was not a '90s show. Hold on. Let's see. Also, oh, the first thing I see is Powerpuff Girls, and then I get reminded that we lost Tom Kane. Ah, good lord. We lost Tom Kane. So, shows from the 1990s we got was Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Batman the Animated Series, of which I have on Blu-ray. Ed, Edd n Eddy, Pinky and the Brain, Johnny Bravo. Definitely can't make that show now because reasons. Well, actually, no, you definitely can't make that show now because people can't take a joke. There aren't necessarily any bad reasons why Johnny Bravo can't be made. The only reason why Johnny Bravo can't be made nowadays is because people can't take a joke. And there are way too many sensitive people that will take to social media to voice their frustration and hope that whatever insert number of followers here will, agree with them in their echo chamber to make sure that I don't like this. Let me post it up on Twitter. I don't like this show at all. And then they look over their shoulder to see if anyone's paying attention to them. So no, Johnny Bravo can't be made nowadays because too many people without a spine would complain. Arthur, ooh, every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. You get to learn to work and play and get along with each other. There's so many good theme songs for shows back then. Gargoyles, I remember playing the theme on my trumpet for you guys on a short one time. X-Men, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da. Batman Beyond, yep, another go-to show. And then Spider-Man, let's see, Superman the Animated Series. Yeah, Michael Ironsides as Darkseid goes, ooh. Spawn the Animated Series. Fantastic Four. Reboot. I remember Reboot. I remember watching Reboot, and it was an episode where there was in this maze, and it was like one of the main villains of the episode was like this Medusa creature that would send her hair out and search for the main characters within the maze by using these snakes. I still remember that. Sing it, Captain? Oh, no, you don't want me singing. Beast Wars. Ooh, SWAT Cats. I love SWAT Cats because I'm like, hey, these are mechanics, but they also fly these incredibly sick jets. And I would always remember that when they're ready to fire like a missile or something, they would just flip open and just hit the button, and then it would just fire on the fire whatever they're doing. It's a lot of little minor things. Let's see, Tom and Jerry movie. I remember this when Tom and Jerry spoke for the first time. Yeah, I still remember that. Ants, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Ooh, that was a really good movie. Space Jam. Space Jam was my first movie I remember seeing, ever. Space Jam was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I don't remember anything further than Space Jam, but I do remember going to see Space Jam in theaters. Enjoy hearing you sing. You have a great voice. Well, thank you. Thank you. DuckTales the movie, An American Tail, Fievel Goes West. Oh, Animaniacs, Wacko's Wish. I remember watching that. Darkwing Duck, Freakazoid. Oh, Freakazoid. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Freakazoid. Freakazoid. And the, ooh, Rocko's Modern Life. The fact that this show came out a year after I was born, because I was born in 92. Angry Beavers. Angry Beavers. And then we got Cow and Chicken. I was not allowed to watch Cow and Chicken because of the red guy. I was not allowed to watch Cow and Chicken because of him. Let's see, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I remember seeing some episodes of that. Tailspin. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah, Tailspin. Oh, yeah, Tailspin. I remember that. Ooh, Bonkers. I remember Bonkers. And the thing is, growing up with Bonkers, I always got him confused with Marsupilami, which was that one cartoon where it had the animal with the extra long tail, spotted like yellow spotted monkey marsupial creature, but the tail was like super long. I always got Bonkers confused with him. Oh, and The Mask. The Mask as well. I remember I loved this show. I love watching the show of The Mask. Captain Planet. Oh, y'all don't know some of these shows. Rocket Power. We are riders on a mission. Action kids in fun position. Boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, boom. Oh, I love these shows. What else we got? The Tick. I remember The Tick. I also remember the Godzilla cartoon series as well. What else y'all got? Johnny Quest. Oh, I remember watching this too. Let's see. Bruno the Kid. Did I watch that? I watched Tasmania. I remember seeing the images. I remember seeing this kid before of Bruno the Kid, but I don't think I ever actually watched him. Mighty Ducks TV show. I think I watched the Mighty Ducks the animated series. I'm looking at Action Man, Men in Black. I remember this one. Yeah, I watched this. I watched this one a whole lot. Gadget Boy and Heather. Wildcats. Extreme Dinosaurs. What was this? The Savage Dragon, Double Dragon, Eon Flux. I never watched Eon Flux because it was on MTV, and, you know, the way this show was stylized, definitely not for kids. Hold on, what else we got? Sky Surfer, Hurricanes. Hold on. What else do we got? Ren and Stimpy. I remember some images from some episodes from them. Tiny Toon Adventures. Hey Arnold. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dum. Da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Obviously Animaniacs. I know of The Critic and Darcy. Watched a ton of Rugrats. Do 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 do. I still remember the placement of your fingers when you play that on the piano. I still remember that. Let's see. Real Monsters. I remember this too. This was a creepy, weird show when I watched it. But I also remember watching a lot of Real Monsters. Cat Dog. One fine day when a wolf and a purr, a baby was born and it caused a little stir. No little feet on, canon frog, all the little comment in the world, little cat dog, cat dog, cat dog, alone in the world with a little cat dog. Recess. I love the theme song for a Recess. Doug. Let's see, Goof Troop. Ooh, I watched a lot of Goof Troop too, and I watched some Tom and Jerry Kids too. 101 Dalmatians, the series. 101. I remember this too. I think I saw Cave Kids. I might have saw Cave Kids, but the 101 Dalmatians, the series, I remember that. Timon and Pumbaa, I remember seeing that too. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and The Witch's Ghost were horrifying when I was a kid. Oh yeah, some of these movies that we watched when we were kids were absolutely terrifying. And then when you're an adult, you look at them and it's like, how did they get away with making a movie like this? And then showing it to kids. So many memories. The Big Comfy Couch. This show was peak. The Big Comfy Couch was peak. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to clown around? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Angry Kid. I don't know nothing about Angry Kid. But I here's the thing. I saw some clips. I saw some clips on YouTube. Too weird. It was too weird. Boris and Natasha. Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights. The Rugrats movie. Yeah, here's the Witch's Ghost. Rover Dangerfield. I heard about that, which was supposed to be a movie that had Rodney Dangerfield as the main character. Let me see. What else? Spider-Man Unlimited! Spider-Man Unlimited was awesome. This was when you had the nanotech suit, he had the cape, and then you had futuristic version of the villains that he fought in like the original series of Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, the Silver Surfer movie? Well, the Silver Surfer show? I'm trying to see. What else? Little Bear, Little Bill. It's Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales. It's Caillou, one of the worst shows for children to ever be made. Because it taught kids how to be disruptive and bad behavior. And the fact that Caillou is gone, I'm so glad Caillou is gone. So it doesn't indoctrinate and, teach kids the wrong thing anymore. I'm so glad it's gone. Little Bear, I loved Little Bear. Wild Thornberries. The theme song for Thornberries was great too. Also, yet another show that had Tom Kane in it, because Tom Kane was the voice of Darwin. And Tim Curry was the voice of Nigel Thornberry. However, Tim Curry is still alive despite both he and Tom Kane suffering strokes, heavily debilitating strokes. Tim Curry is now currently confined to a wheelchair, but he's still alive. Tom Kane, however, because of complications from a stroke, passed literally earlier, I believe it was earlier this week. And it's like, my goodness. And the fact that the thing is with Tom Kane, he was also the go-to voice to do Yoda and literally anything Star Wars related after Frank Oz. There has never been any other person, there really hasn't been that many people other than Frank Oz who has voiced Yoda this much. If anything, I want to say that Tom Kane did more Yoda stuff than Frank Oz did. Magic School Bus, Barney, Angela Anaconda. This show will forever be weird, and I don't know how I managed to get through any of the episodes. I was probably bored those days, but Angela Anaconda was literally one of the weirdest shows I ever saw. But my brain didn't comprehend cringe at the time, so I was like, it's on, and I watched it. But I don't retain anything good from it. I don't retain anything good from watching this show. No meaningful memories whatsoever. Just the fact that it was weird that it had people's faces styled in ways where they could talk. And it was just really, really weird. I don't have any good memories from Angela Anaconda at all. It was just something that was on. I got good memories from Barney, and Barney's been around since 1992. I got so many good memories from watching Barney when I was growing up, and this is before they started adding new dinosaurs outside of Baby Bop and BJ. But Angela Anaconda, 3 seasons, came out in 1999. I couldn't for the life of me tell you a single episode synopsis because I don't remember it. This show, when I see images of this show, I sometimes realize, oh, I watched this. I've watched this show before. Why did I watch this show? I don't remember anything meaningful from Angela Anaconda. I do remember quite a bit from The Busy World of Richard Scarry. Captain Planet, yep, Teletubbies. I remember that. Roly Poly Oly. Some of these shows, I'm not afraid to say that even when I became a teenager, I would still watch sometimes on Playhouse Disney when they come on, simply because I grew up with these shows and they're just sentimental to me and I just like watching them. I'm not ashamed to admit that some shows that they had on Playhouse Disney for, like young kids, I would still watch when I was in my teenage years. Simply because growing up with those shows meant everything to me. So many shows. Hold on, let's see. Let's see if we can find something. Kid and Play had a cartoon? Huh, never knew. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Bobby's World. I grew up watching Bobby's World a lot. Tom and Jerry Kids, grew up watching that. Tiny Toon Adventures, watched that a lot. Captain Planet and the Planeteers, watched that. Oh, they have the images for these shows too. Bobby's World, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Wizard of Oz TV show. I don't think I ever watched that one. That was definitely before my time. That was literally 2 years. Oh, they made a Caillou all grown up miniseries here on YouTube, fan made, but still he's worse as an adult. I seen like one half of the episode of one of those adult Caillou, and I'm like, yeah, not even as an adult do I find him even remotely endearing or interesting in any way. I don't want to look at Caillou no more. When you get tired of seeing someone as a kid and you don't even want to see them as an adult, that's when you truly messed up. Let's see, Pigs for Pigs. That kind of rings a bell. Merry Melody starring Bugs and Friends. That kind of rings a bell. Pirates of Darkwater. I don't think I ever seen this one. Doug, I have. Ren and Stimpy, I have. Rugrats, I have. Tasmania, I have. Darkwing Duck, I have. Mother Goose and Grimm. I don't remember that one. Back to the Future had a TV show? Yep, didn't watch that one. Space Cats? Don't remember. Yo Yogi? Possibly. Batman the Animated Series? Yes. Goof Troop? Yep, I watched Goof Troop. Little Mermaid TV show? I remember watching one episode, and that's because it was on a combination VHS tape that had other Disney shows on top of it. So I remember seeing one episode, and it was when Ariel befriended a killer whale that got lost from its pod, and then the killer whale had to learn to be brave because it was a coward, until it got to a point where a shark tried to take out, Ariel and Flounder, and then the actual killer whale itself started throwing hands and literally beat this thing into submission. And when you realize that orcas in real life are on-site type creatures when it comes to sharks, like there's a video that shows an orca literally pick up speed, tearing through the water to literally jab into the side of a shark. And it's like something that it moves the way people describe how a space marine moves in the novel. Something that big, something that size shouldn't move that fast. That orca went from 0 to 60 in seconds, and it was like in the water, hitting the shark straight in the gills. So yeah, that's the one episode of the Little Mermaid TV show I remember. Let's see, Wild West Cow, Boys of Moo Mesa. I don't think I remember this show. The Addams Family, loved the Addams Family cartoon. I absolutely love it. The Plucky Duck Show, Raw Tunage. Cartoon Heads, American Heroes and Legends. I think I heard of this. Donald's Quack Attack. Mickey Mouse Tracks. Bonkers. Yep. Bonkers. Two Stupid Dogs. Like, you remember the theme song. Two stupid dogs. Two stupid dogs. Two stupid dogs. You remember the theme. Droopy Master Detective. This was one of the last cartoons that came on Disney before it switched over to the adult programming for the Disney Channel. I remember Droopy. And also, I remember laughing so much at this show. When I was a kid, I would watch this show, and some of the jokes that Droopy would tell, maybe it's because I was easily amused when I was a kid, but some of the stuff that Droopy would say in some of these episodes would just send me over the edge just laughing because it was just so silly. So I love Droopy Master Detective. SWAT Cats, like I said, I remember that. Animaniacs. Crow. I don't know what Crow is. Here it is, Marsupilami. Yeah, this was the show that I would always confuse with Bonkers. Rocco's Modern Life. The Moxie Show, Don't Know You, Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego? I think I remember seeing some episodes, but I had more time with Carmen Sandiego on the school computer programs we were allowed to mess with when we had free time, more than I actually did watching the show. The Aladdin TV show, I remember that as well. Conan and the Young Warriors, never watched this one. Beethoven. I didn't know Beethoven had a animated TV series. Hold on. Oh. I thought it was something, but no. It's just birds in front of our camera. But yeah, I didn't know Beethoven had like a TV series. Bump in the Night. I do remember this. I remember seeing Bump in the Night when I was a kid. Like, I remember these, it was stop animation. I remember this. The Tick, I remember some episodes there. Skeleton Warriors. Whenever you hear me say whenever you hear me say those lines, when I say Skeleton Warrior, especially when I was playing Neo, it comes from this show. Gargoyles. Yeah, I grew up watching Gargoyles as well. Real Monsters. Spider-Man. What a Cartoon. And it would have this like rainbow circular swirl going with like what? Cartoon. And it would have different cartoons saying those lines, whether it was Dexter, Fred Flintstone, it would have them saying that, and then it would have different segments of different cartoons just appear in this anthology. Let's see, Happily Ever After, Fairy Tales for Every Child. I remember seeing some of these, including ones that was it was on HBO Family. Robert Gilliam. I was about to say Robert Gilliam. Robert Gilliam? We literally had a Primarch who commissioned this, but no, it was someone else, an American actor and singer. But I was about to say, what? A Primarch from Space Marine created Happily Ever After? But it was so close to looking like Gilliman. So close! But I remember seeing one that had to deal with Mother Goose, who was voiced by Whoopi Goldberg. David Chappelle was in it. Denzel Washington was in it. Sinbad was in it. so many different people were actually, you know what? I wonder if I could find that episode and go through all the actors who was in that episode. Where is it? Rumpelstiltskin, Frog Prince, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Princess and the Pea. Where is it? Pied Piper. Ah, okay. So I remember the Pied Piper. Yeah, I remember the Pied Piper because it had Wesley Snipes as the Pied Piper. And then you had Samuel L. Jackson as the mayor of Hamelin, Grant Shoud as Toady. Let's see, Tico Wells as Duke of Earl, Exterminator, Anna Alicia. You had all these people, but I distinctly remember the Pied Piper. The Golden Goose, Sinbad as Simpleton, Loretta Devine as the mother, Richard Lewis as the old beggar, James Avery as the father, Avery Brooks, Vanessa Bell Calloway. You had Heavy D. You had Heavy D in this episode. Phil Lamar. Phil Lamar would just pop off with everything he would do later on. Sugar Ray. You had Megan Faye. Golden Goose. Where is the where is it? Here it is. Mother Goose, a rappin' and rhymin' special. This is the one that had all sorts of people in it. So you had Whoopi Goldberg as Mother Goose. You had Camille Winbush as the girl. Jimmy Smits. You had Salt and Pepper as the three little kittens. Regis Philbin and Kathy Lee Guilford as Jack and Jill. Jackée Harry, you know Lisa from Sister Sister. You had Nell Carter, Lauren Tom, Dave Chappelle, Robert Pastorelli, Denzel Washington, George Wallace, Rockapella, Stephen Wright, and Marla Gibbs. You had all these people in this particular episode, and I remember it so much. I remember so many of these people. George Wallace. I didn't see season 3 though. I didn't see anything in season 3 at all. But it was the Mother Goose special that stuck with me the most. Wow, so many memories from that show. The Mask animated TV show. I remember that. Timon and Pumbaa, Freakazoid. You know, it would be really obscure if they made a Freakazoid video game. But then again, it would be just like playing a super fast version of Deadpool in a way. Piggy and the Brain, Sylvester and Tweety's Mysteries. Oh, I remember this. I remember watching this too. What is this? Monster Mania, Bugs and Daffy, Cartoon Planet, Santo Bugito. I don't know of this show. The Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, The Adventures of Hyperman, Dumb and Dumber. This was a show. This was one of my first cartoons. Well, not really, because some of these shows, Dumb and Dumber is older than some of these shows I grew up with. But I remember, this is when I was speaking to you guys about a Dumb and Dumber cartoon. This was it. Back in 1995 to 1996. I remember. Let me see if I can find the episode where Lloyd is going out on a date. And then one of his chipped dip. I think this is it. I think this is the one. When Lloyd goes out on a date and his tooth is chipped, and Harry gets the bright idea of taking some gum and sticking it up in his gap and putting the tooth back in there so he can go on this date with this apparently superficial girl who immediately dropped him as soon as the gum fell out of his mouth, and along that with the tooth, and he just had like a chip of his tooth just sitting in his mouth. Sea Bear and Jamal, Dexter's Lab, Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, Adventures from the Book of Virtues. I don't remember that one. Mighty Ducks, I remember that. Superman, I remember that. Road Rovers, don't really remember. Blue's Clues, Cave Kids, Jungle Cubs. Jungle Cubs? I remember Jungle Cubs. This was essentially kid versions of the Jungle Book. Hey Arnold, grew up with that, loved the theme song. Kablam, I remember that too. Waynehead. R.I.P. Mr. James Every. That man was an icon. He was. He was people's dads when you watch Fresh Prince. He was the Shredder. So many characters he's actually voiced. Actually, hold on. Let me see. Let me go back up to Happily Ever After and then go down to James Avery's career because I'm pretty sure some characters he's voiced. Let me see. James Avery. James. Okay, I need to find the episode that deal with the Golden Goose. There he is. Okay, there he is. James Avery, television, video games and others. Okay, Splash Mountain, Disney animated storybook. Let me see. My Wife and Kids. Love My Wife and Kids. Love that show. Jamie Foxx show. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Vengeance Unlimited. Wild Thornberrys, Extreme Ghostbusters, Happily Ever After, War Machine and Spider-Man, The Shaman and Gargoyles. Yeah, he was Jim Rhodes in War Machine, along with Whirlwind and Blacklash in the Iron Man cartoon. And then we have Harold Hazibin in The Aladdin Show. Played himself in Family Matters. He was in Rock. He was the Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1991. And this was after Fresh Prince. No, I'm wrong. This was during Fresh Prince. This was during 1991. Fresh Prince was on 1990 to 1996. But he was the Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Nightmare Ned. I don't remember this. Angry Beavers I do, but not Nightmare Ned. Johnny Bravo. Love this show because it was so silly. Cow and Chicken, like I said, was not allowed to watch this because of Red Guy. I Am Weasel was not allowed to watch this one either because of Baboon's bare butt being on display. Recess, love this show. 101 Dalmatians, the series, love this show as well. Pepper Ann, she's too cool for 7th grade. Pepper Ann, she's a 1 in a million. Like, you know the scream part of that song? Pepper Ann, she's just 1 in a million. You know the yell, you know it. Science Court, The Weird Al Show. I don't remember watching this. I never watched that. New Batman Adventures. New Batman Superman Adventures. The Ink and Paint Club. Salty's Lighthouse. Salty. Oh, I remember Salty. Yeah, I seen this show before because I always thought the kid had like a weird hairstyle. It was just sticking out the side of his head and then going straight up. I remember Salty's Lighthouse. Men in Black, the series, watch this too. Channel Umpty 3. I think I heard of this. Toonsylvania. Steven Spielberg. Toonsylvania. PB&J Otter. PB&J, 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 PB&J. Oh, I love the theme song with PB&J Otter. I could just... Cat Dog. Oh yeah, cartoons. Hercules. I watched that show too. No. If I ever said that, it's because it came from one episode with Icarus. And he was just saying that. Wild Thornberrys, yep. Mad Jack the Pirate. I think maybe I heard of that. The Secret Files of the Spy Dogs. Never watched that. Hysteria. I don't know if I've seen this one either. Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain. I might have watched this, but it's kind of obscure. Oh, JJ the Jet Plane. Never have you ever met a guy like this, so much in love with the sky like this. So buckle up tight, it's a magical flight with JJ. JJ the Jet Plane.
That's me!
I remember watching this too. Powerpuff Girls. Ed, Edd n Eddy. Literally one of the greatest shows ever made. Ed, Edd n Eddy. Just amongst peak. But this is top peak. Batman Beyond. And Batman Beyond Return of the Joker was an awesome movie. The Cat and Birdie, Warner Rooney, Pinky Brainy, Big Cartoony Show. Yep, that title alone just tells me that I never watched that. I never saw it. A little curious. I think I may have seen this. Some of these characters look familiar, but it also looks weird. SpongeBob. Mind you, we're not just on, you know, like Disney, but we're on every facet of cartoon. New Woody Woodpecker show, Rocket Power, Sabrina the Animated Series. I watched that too. Detention. Did not watch this. Also, when I was a kid, I never got Detention, which I'm happy about. Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot. Cyber 9 New Dawn. Mike Lewin. Oh! On the island, Mike Lewin. On the island, Mike Lewin. Where nobody goes. I remember that. Courage the Cowardly Dog. NASCAR Racers. That was a TV show? Little Bill. Totally Tuned In. And this is just in the United States in the 90s. This was the last TV show in America well, not really. No, never mind. I was wrong. No, this was the last show made. No, this was the last television cartoon made in America before we officially started getting shows in the 2000s. Totally Tuned In, which was an anthology show. This was the last one we got before we moved into the next century, actually. United Kingdom had Kipper, Bob the Builder, Maisie. Maisie Mouse. That's the theme. That's literally the theme song. Big Nights. What did Canada get? Canada got Reboot. And Sticking Around. Europeans got Hammerman. Hammerman! Hammer! With the most out there theme song by MC Hammer. Because the thing with MC Hammer, he can rhyme, but sometimes he tries to force too much into a line, and he did that with the Hammerman theme song. Also, the Hammerman show was not good. It was not good. Not at all. Let's see. Pro Stars, Super Mario World, Wish Kid, Macaulay Culkin. Where's Wally? This was a TV show? Oh, right, I forgot it was. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Madeline. I used to watch that all the time, too. All New Dennis the Menace. Didn't watch this one. Sonic the Hedgehog. The old ones that we used to like. Wacky World of Tex Avery. Yeah, I remember seeing the theme of this and thinking that it was just like a whole bunch of extra. And Godzilla the series. Wait a minute. Was this Canadian? No, this was European. And then and these are co-productions. Little Rosie. She just looks like she'll get in trouble. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, a bunch of munch. Here's the thing. I for the longest time, for over 15 years, thought that A Bunch of Munch was a fever dream. And that I made it up. Because you know how when you're really, really sleepy and you start thinking things that don't make much sense, like someone's singing a song but the song doesn't make sense, or people are talking and it makes nonsense because you're just that tired. I thought this was one part of my childhood that I just made up. I thought I made it up for years, to find out that this is an actual real show. So long ago, I thought I was making stuff up when I saw A Bunch of Munch, but it's real. And I looked at the theme and I'm like, this is it. And the thing is, for years, I thought, I was thinking that it wasn't real until I started to try to think of what it was, because I couldn't even remember what the show was called. It was called A Bunch of Munch, but I had like this theme song stuck in my head of what it actually sounded like for ever since I was a child. And it wasn't until maybe a good 4, maybe 5 years ago that I actually found out what it was called. So seeing this was like, oh, so this is real. So when I looked at the thing, I'm like, it's real! The One Piece is real! So finding out that it's an actual real show was just so enlightening for me. Fievel's American Tales, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I watched these, and I was scared because the Crypt Keeper freaked me out when I saw him. Magic School Bus, yep. Baby Huey Show, Baby Huey. If I'm having such a hard time remembering, I probably didn't watch it. Free Willy had a TV show? It was just one movie. How does someone like Free Willy get a TV show? Wildcats, Little Bear, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I remember watching that. Arthur, Caillou, so glad it's gone. The Adventures of Sam and Max. I remember seeing an ad for them on TV. Franklin. Hey, it's Franklin, coming over to play. Flying Rhino Junior High. I did not watch that one. Anatole. What is Anatole? Dumb Bunnies. I don't know what that one is. Birds with a Z. Roly. He's roly-poly-oly. He's small and smurf and round. And in the world that twirls and twirls, he's the smallest thing around. Howdy. I remember the theme song. And the grandpa, he would get on my nerves sometimes, but he was also the one with the most smack talk for everybody, so I kind of like the grandpa. Mythic Warriors, Ed and Nettie, Rescue Heroes, Zaboomafoo. Me and you and Zaboomafoo. Dragon Tales and Weirdos. And these are the shows from the 90s. Growing up in the 90s was something else. I miss the 90s. Some aspects of the 90s I miss are, not having to worry about doing taxes or bills and stuff like that. Stuff that as a kid you don't need to remember, or don't need to worry about. But as a grown-up, I can fully appreciate those moments as a kid. Let me see. Is there anything new? I'm not seeing anything except Jason is coming to Dead by Daylight on June 16th. Some more videos concerning Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, a new Fortnite event, and most of this is just coming from Jeff Keighley. people eating some good food, making me hungry. And just people putting stuff up on their feeds. Ooh, wait a minute. Here's something we can do. Here's something we can do. Here's something we can do. I'm kind of curious. Now, I was just a bit like, launch trailer. Wait a minute. When is 007 First Light supposed to be coming out? When is this supposed to be launching? Oh, in a couple of days. Oh, what is going on? Off the wish list it comes, 007 First Light fans are requesting refunds after learning about De Nouveau DRM edition ahead of launch. Well, here's my thing. As much as people don't like De Nouveau DRM on their games, why do they wait until, around the time when the game is supposed to be coming out for them to say, oh, by the way, De Nouveau's on here? People don't like it on their games. Why do they wait until the last second? Early reviews say it all. What are they saying? Hold on, let's check this out. This is from Open World Games. Let's see.
So yes, we've got to talk about 007 First Light. I am extremely excited about this game, but today we're going to be talking about early hands-on impressions from the latest build, both the positives, and we're definitely not going to be shying away from the negatives. We have a lot to go over, plus we are going to be talking about the gameplay. We're going to dive a little bit into the story, not too much. We're going to talk about James Bond as a character, and yes, we are going to be talking about that performance on consoles and PC. Even like the lower end PCs, can they handle this game? We have a lot to look into from Digital Foundry there as well. But hearing that this game is kind of emerging between Hitman and
that's
Uncharted,
what he looks like?
dude, I'm there for it. I'm super
like.
hyped for this one. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive in here and talk about it. So yes, of course, 007 First Light, if you did not know, drops on May 27th, has an early access period of May 26th. For those that pre-order. But I think the most important thing to start off with is the fact that this game is made by IO Interactive, the Danish studio behind the entire Hitman franchise. And if you're a Hitman fan, you already know why this is especially exciting here. These are the very people who spent over 2 decades building some of the most iconic, creative, system-driven stealth sandboxes in gaming history. Paris, Dubai, Miami, these are levels that people are still finding new things to do in years after launch. So when IO announced back in November 2020...
Something about the combat is kind of off-putting a little bit. It reminds me of, like, the fighting style of What's-Her-Face from Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know if it's just me. It's really here when he starts beating up on the dude against the desk that it reminds me of the combat of Outlaws, which we all know how much everyone loved Star Wars Outlaws, especially the combat. Something about this seems a little subdued.
Years after launch. So when IO announced back in November 2020 that they've acquired the James Bond license, well, I was totally shocked and absolutely excited because I felt like they were the ones to obviously develop this type of game. But here's where it gets kind of interesting, and what we're going to be diving into more immediately is that IO, they didn't just make a Hitman reskin with Bond's face stapled on. That's a very deliberate, creative choice to go in a very different direction. It's going to be more narrative focused, more cinematic, more Uncharted than Hitman in many ways. And there's definitely some opinions about this. Now, IO's CEO did put it this way, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here. They wanted to push the boundaries of what a James Bond game could be while telling a completely fresh, original story. So this isn't tied to any film. There's no Daniel Craig, no Pierce Brosnan. This is their Bond, built from scratch. So we've got a little bit of 007, Hitman, and Uncharted. Our Bond, built from scratch. So we've got a little bit of 007, Hitman, and Uncharted in this game, but how prominent is the 007 in this mixture? does it really stand out or is it lost in the mix? So let's talk about gameplay first. So yes, the core structure of 007 First Light is best described, and IO's own creative director confirmed this, as a sandbox that leads into stealth action, which leads into a gunfight, which leads into a vehicle chase, and then it loops back around. It's kind of like a rhythm. Linear cinematic sections funnel you into smaller sandboxes, then back out again into more directed movie-style sequences. And the early impressions really got to dive deep into the game's systems. I got to experience several levels as well, and really got to experience the variety on offer here, from the stealth to the gunplay to the hand-to-hand melee combat, all the way up into the boss fights and vehicular stuff as well. But we got to talk about the mechanical stuff here. So the license to kill system, how has this been received? So this is one of the design decisions that everyone was talking about. In standard gameplay, Bond cannot just draw a gun. If you try to aim at someone in a non-combat situation, Bond will actually refuse. He just won't do it. Only when enemies escalate to lethal intent does what the game calls the license to kill phase activate here. Suddenly, Bond's full marksmanship comes online and range combat integrates into the flow of the level. Now, this is a very deliberate design choice to kind of reinforce the idea that Bond is a spy first, not a shooter. You're supposed to reach for stealth, deception, and gadgets before you reach for a gun. However, it was noted some people felt this could be limiting to gameplay freedom, and it's going to be interesting to see how you guys, the players, basically react to this, but it makes sense to Bond's core character. But yeah, this is where the opinions come into play here, and it's definitely interesting. So yes, we're going to start out here with YouTuber Jake Baldino. Also had some words about the gameplay. So the single biggest surprise for Jake was how the game felt less like pure Hitman and more like a blend of Hitman, Batman, Arkham, and Watch Dogs. So the Hitman DNA is obviously there, the camera angle, the pacing of the movement, how you follow and pickpocket people, how rooms are arranged. But Bond doesn't need to worry about hiding bodies or maintaining disguises, which gives everything a slightly faster, more forward-moving feel. So the Watch Dogs comparison now comes from how central Bond's Q-Tech watch is to everything. You're constantly looking around the environment, targeting objects, and interacting with them, hacking copy machines, glitching out computers, cutting security cameras, dropping chandeliers, bursting pipes. It's all an on-the-fly environmental manipulation system that runs through both the stealth and combat portions of the game. Now, the Batman Arkham comparisons, where are those? So this really crystallized for Jake during a boss fight against a classic Bond henchman type villain. The structure of the fight was essentially the Mr. Freeze battle from Arkham City. You can't use the same trick twice because the enemy adapts, so you have to cycle through every tool Bond has. And I gotta say, it's great to note here that IO Interactive, they're looking at like some of the best franchises in the world for inspiration. You know, their own franchise, Hitman, of course, Batman, Arkham, and Uncharted. So that right there.
Yep. It's not a matter of open world games putting me to sleep. It's just that I'm looking at the gameplay and it's not engaging me. Maybe I need to find a different video where it is just the gameplay itself, but nothing is grabbing me at all. So I need to see some actual gameplay. One where people aren't talking. Because as it stands right now, I mean, I'm not going to be playing this. I'm not going to be playing 007. I'm not going to be playing 007 at all. Because, frankly, I'm going to be playing Lego Batman. I mean, when I get done with this, I am going to continue recording more videos for Lego Batman. So, I mean, 007 is not even on my radar. So I'm not really concerned about it. I just thought I would try and give it another chance. But just hearing about it, it's not doing it. It's not doing anything for me.
I didn't catch your name.
I didn't give it.
Bond is immature and reckless. Headstrong, thrill-seeking, issues with authority.
Needs our new star air crewman Bond.
Do you mind telling me why I'm here?
I want to make you a spy.
St. John Smythe, my dear.
009 is a master manipulator.
To catch him, we're going to need eyes everywhere.
When you're ready, Bond.
What about the girl?
A means to an end.
That's an interesting pickup line.
Whatever his endgame is, we won't see it coming.
I'm sorry, is that a golden gun? That's a golden gun. They just giving you a golden gun. Okay, I will admit that's cool. That's actually kind of cool. The collector's pack is actually kind of cool. But that's it though. Yeah, I'm not feeling anything. I am not feeling anything whatsoever. Like I'm feeling more from Batman. I'm feeling more from Endless Ragnarok. I'm feeling more from Disgaea Mayhem. I'm feeling more from Control Resonant. And I'm definitely going to be feeling more about Wolverine because I cannot wait to check out that state of play on the 2nd of June. It's going to be beautiful. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not really feeling anything about this. And of course we got, how Assassin's Creed looks. Now, mind you, this is IGN, so take what they say with a grain of salt. This is the same people that said, what was the most recent game that just came out? They gave some game like a 6 out of 10, but they gave Mixtape a 10 out of 10. Do with that information what you will.
13 years after Ubisoft ditched Desmond Miles to go full pirate in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, this seafaring adventure is still considered by some to be the best pirate simulator of all time. So it's no wonder at all that Ubisoft has decided to dust off this bad boy and remake it in the style of last year's Assassin's Creed Shadows. Complete with all the modern trimmings you'd expect. That includes stuff like drastically improved graphics, modernized combat mechanics to make Edward Kenway faster on the draw,
There's the blood that people were worried that wouldn't be there.
And my personal favorite, a near complete removal of all the pesky loading screens that is an absolute godsend. My time with Black Flag Resynced included a few red flags to go along with the black ones though. Like how some of the modernizations involved removing aspects of the original, it seemed like maybe they'd be best left as they were, but on the whole, it's pretty hard to be mad about this gorgeous second voyage of one of the best Assassin's Creed games. Hard to be mad about this gorgeous second voyage of one of the
Did they do something to his face? Something about his face feels so different, and I'm not talking about the visual overhaul. Something about his facial structure has changed. Something about his facial structure has changed.
best Assassin's Creed games. Many of Black Flag Resynked's best parts come courtesy of the Ubisoft Anvil engine, last seen in AC Shadows. It's been used to recreate Black Flag from the ground up, and that allows it to be every bit as beautiful as more recent Assassin's Creed games. The tropical environment of the Caribbean is a night and day improvement over the original, specifically when it comes to how bright and colorful areas are versus the previous generation's somewhat muted and dark appearance, especially when running around forested areas. Similarly, character models somehow managed to look absurdly better than they did in 2013, while also being exactly as I remember them. That said, I did find many of the characters to be a bit prettier than I expected, particularly when it comes to pirate characters who spend all their time boozing, sailing, and fighting. The cast seems to have been given a Hollywood glow-up and aren't nearly as gross and dirty as you might think. Black Flag
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong with pirates looking the way they did in Black Flag. So I don't know why they're trying to, beautify some of the characters. This isn't an anime where everyone looks good all the time. We're pirates, back before Irish Spring and Old Spice were a thing. So that feels like maybe they should have just left how grungy people looked as is. To truly capture the essence. If anything, the graphical overhaul that they've done would have made the grunginess look even more authentic for pirates as a whole. So, they probably should have left it as it was.
Synced also benefits from many of the other upgrades the series has seen in recent iterations, especially changes to combat that make it faster and more decisive, and to sneaking around that make it a more competent stealth game than the original. Despite the Assassin's Creed series ostensibly being all about sneaking around, it's wild to think that it wasn't until Assassin's Creed Unity that we got a dedicated crouch button. Absolutely insane in retrospect. In the original Black Flag, you could
How did you
crouch
mess
button.
that up?
It's wild to think that it wasn't until Assassin's Creed Unity that we got a dedicated crouch button.
Dude, you're supposed to be stealthing, and you fired a gun? Who's doing this preview?
Absolutely insane in retrospect. In the original Black Flag, you could only go undetected when hidden within a group of people or when walking in bushes that automatically put you into crouch mode. Aside from that, your character genuinely couldn't crouch at all. Thankfully, Black Flag Resynced adds a dedicated crouch button so you can go about your business of stabbing enemies to death from the cover of shadow as you please. There are also a few new gadgets in your stealth tool belt, and some that were in the original but come to you much sooner in this iteration. For example, the badass rope dart that didn't appear until the tail end of the story is now added to your inventory in the opening chapters, so you can almost immediately start yanking enemies toward you like Mortal Kombat Scorpion.
Get over here!
Which I think we can all agree is just a great decision. If you aren't in the mood for stealth though, one change to this iteration of Black Flag is likely to bring you joy. Those deeply irritating tailing quests have been reworked. Whereas before you'd have to slowly follow people around
None of your bullets are landing! That's the thing! It's not even a matter of you missing. None of them are actually taking this person out, doing any damage.
Unnoticed, paying the ultimate price of having to start over from the beginning if you got caught. Now, you're provided alternate ways of completing the mission instead. In the one example included in the demo, I decided to sprint right at the two people I was told to follow just to see what would happen. And although the result was sloppy and most unbecoming of an aspiring assassin, I can confirm that I was indeed given separate means for completing my objective anyway, though they were significantly bloodier and less smooth than planned. A pretty great change if you ask me. Likewise, combat has been modernized to focus on player skill, complete with my favorite, a perfect parry mechanic that opens enemies up to be instantly killed if you get the timing just so.
That was not a parry though.
As someone who's been honing his parry timing for years in the crucible of Souls-likes and uber difficult action games, this is one of my favorite changes. Not only does it make you feel like a complete badass when you slap someone's sword out of your face and finish them off with an execution, but it also allows for combat to go faster, something that feels quite needed at times with all the samey boarding combat sections that happen every time you want to pillage a ship of its cargo before sinking it. I also played with the difficulty turned all the way up and found myself dying quite a bit, both in ship-based combat and while swashbuckling. Some of this is surely just the fact that I was playing the remake for the first time and learning as I went, but here's hoping this iteration of Black Flag is a bit more challenging than the original, where I rarely found myself in any real peril. Though this remaster draws on many of Assassin's Creed's more recent entries, it steers clear from the RPG elements found in Valhalla and Shadows, instead sticking to its action-adventure roots like Mirage, and crucially, the original Black Flag. There are still some stats on weapons that can be purchased in shops and some RPG-like upgrades here and there, but Resynced focuses much more on being a competent action game than—
You know what I'm scared for this game? For several years, well, I want to say over 10 years. It's been a very long time. What I'm scared for most for this game is the fact that Ubisoft is going to try and see this as another opportunity to create yet another storefront where you can buy different things for your ship and just change the appearance entirely, or give you items that can essentially make the game easier for you. aside from boosters and, insta-find all these different objects here on the map, I fear that they will go the route they've always gone with every single Assassin's Creed. Well, pretty much every game they release, because Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora had it, Far Cry had it. All of their games have had a storefront where they really, really, really want to push for people to buy cosmetics and or game altering or game or pay to win type aspects of the game. So what I fear is that they're going to do the same thing for your ship. So while you could earn a whole bunch of things on your own, they're more than likely going to give you a whole bunch of ship cosmetics that will just fundamentally change how your ship looks. I'm calling it right now. If they do, expect to see a ghost spectral ship of some kind, like some sort of spectral skin, or one where either your ship is on fire or your sails are on fire, or one where your entire ship is just gold. For no reason, it's just gold. It doesn't make sense. It makes you a far bigger target, but that's a skin. Because they do it for every single open world game that they do. Every single one. They did it for The Division. They did it for Far Cry. They've been doing it for Assassin's Creed for as long as I can remember. I feel like they're not going to stop doing it here. Especially considering how little good faith they have with players. Just because you announce this game, just because you announce that you're remaking Black Flag, doesn't mean that you're back in the good graces of players. I'm sorry, but ever since, I want to say the last great Assassin's Creed game that we got was Origins. Then you had Odyssey, where it's like, oh, so we're not being assassins anymore. We're just going to be a full-on Spartan. Oh, we're going to be a Viking that doesn't believe in stealth. We literally ransack entire villages. And then you get Assassin's Creed Shadows, which does take us a little bit back to the assassin route a little bit with Naue. But, Yasuke and the whole thing going on with that game. But they did it for every single one of these games. Every time. Every time. So my fear is that they will try to push that same thing in this game. But also, if Resynced is not good, if it doesn't perform well, if it doesn't, fully capture the essence of the original Black Flag, and the game itself is just, cooked from the get-go, it is going to be extremely difficult to gain any further good favor from players again. Because Black Flag literally seems like an attempt to really get back into people's good graces because of how long we've been asking for either a remaster, for just a remaster of Black Flag that can play at 60 FPS. Mind you, the thing that really started this was the fact that they were creating 60 FPS updates for other Assassin's Creed games, except for Black Flag. But now that we're getting Black Flag, this needs to be a success. There should be no reason why Black Flag is not successful and Ubisoft can start to recover. Unless they do something wrong. What day is it? It's the 23rd. It's the 23rd of May. The Resync game comes out in July. Same month as Endless Ragnarok. I won't be playing Resync because the pull for me to play Ubisoft related games is, especially new ones, is heavily diminished. Last one I played was Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and I enjoyed that. It was funny to me, but and mainly my biggest enjoyment from that game was literally just me playing the first hour of every session that I streamed it with my sister, and just the conversations that we had. Not even the story and how relevant it is, but just literally playing the game and just really kind of not even paying attention to the game and me just talking with my sister the whole time. That's the most enjoyment I got out of Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora. Sure, I'm playing through New Game Plus and I'm getting like legendary gear and I'm thinking like, ooh, that's pretty cool. But this game needs to succeed.
an RPG, so you won't find yourself stealth assassinating someone and not doing enough DPS to take them out in one strike. I actually enjoy both the more RPG-style Assassin's Creed games and the less chunky action games that the series found its roots in. But if I'm being honest, this one just feels like it's much better suited as a pure action game. After all, I'm a bloody pirate for God's sake. I'm meant to be showing these nautical narcs the business end of a flintlock, not running the numbers on my armor set or doing math on my critical hit chances. Yar, I say. Yar!
Like, you're doing all this turning,
some of the streamlining of Black Flag to resync action has led to some peculiar choices, though, like how you can no longer pick up weapons of slain foes to use in combat. In the original, if you downed a big guy who was wielding a two-handed axe, you could then pick it up and use it to mop up the rest of the scallywags in your path. For whatever reason, that was removed in the demo I played, though, possibly to simplify things and keep the action moving along without having to clumsily retrieve a weapon from the ground in the heat of battle. I can certainly see the logic in that choice, but honestly, I kind of missed being able to have that kind of freedom, and it felt to me like one of those wholly unnecessary changes that could have just as well been left as it was. Then again, this feature hasn't been a part of the series in quite some time now, so maybe it's just one of these things that no longer fits in with the Anvil engine. While reliving my time with Black Flag was largely awesome, one surprising revelation is that the entirety of the present-day storyline has been removed from this version. As someone who misses when the Assassin's Creed series actually tried to tell a story within its sci-fi world, it's a bit of a bummer to see them follow in Assassin's Creed Shadows' footsteps of giving up on that aspect of the series entirely. It's especially...
I'm gonna be real, I feel like interest in Abstergo as a whole, in the lore of Assassin's Creed, died when Desmond did. When Desmond died, anything that Abstergo did afterwards was just literally irrelevant. And the only thing I was interested in was just playing the assassin in the memories. I stopped caring about the modern day parts of Assassin's Creed the day Desmond died. After that, it's like, I don't want to deal with any of this modern day stuff. Just put me back in the world of the assassin, where I'm going to be spending most of my time.
Odd if, like me, you have the twist ending at the end of the original Black Flag burned into your memory. I'm honestly very curious how this remake will be able to cut around that aspect of the story entirely, and worry the story might feel a bit awkward in doing so. That said, the historical story and pirate gameplay is quite obviously Black Flag's strength, so maybe it won't be any big loss not having it around, even if it does feel a bit strange. Perhaps as a way of making up for the lack of a present-day story, Resynced interestingly adds content to Kenway's story that wasn't in the original, some of which I played. This includes whole story sections that focus on Blackbeard and Stead Bonnet, who were only briefly involved in the original version. Sections that focus on Blackbeard and Stead Bonnet, who were only briefly involved in the original version of Black Flag, if memory serves. There are also new party members you can recruit to join your pirate crew, complete with quests to indoctrinate them into your privateering operations. One such quest involved breaking a shipwright out of jail and persuading her to join my team by agreeing to help her with a personal matter down the road. Her name is Lucy, and she's pretty much a complete badass. I think she'll fit in with Kenway and company just fine. After a handful of hours playing this remake of one of the best Assassin's Creed games, I'm pretty sold on replaying through it in its entirety when it comes out later this year. What do you think? Will you give Black Flag a return trip? Let us know in the comments. For more, check out our recent previews of 007 First Light and Nina the Hollower. And for everything else, keep plundering the goods with IGN.
I don't know. I don't know. This game needs to be a success. It needs to be a success. I hope it is. I actually hope it is. But as it stands right now, Ubisoft needs to do a lot more than they've been doing. How long has it been? How long have we been streaming for? A good 2 hours, I think. Yeah. It's been a good 2 hours. It's going on 3. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why it's telling me to sign into chat. Like, I don't know why it's showing that bottom part, which is kind of weird. That's the reason why I had it stretched the way I did. Actually, wait a minute. I can fix this live. There we go. And then move over here. Sorry, showing the extra stuff. Yeah, I'll just have it like this. So it doesn't show the extra that it doesn't need to show at all. Yeah, I'm just messing with stuff, pay me no mind. Yeah, I'm fixing stuff. Yeah, all right. I think we checked out more than enough today. Some interesting videos were watched today. And also, yeah, I keep checking to see if there's anything new gaming wise, but I don't think we're gonna get anything new gaming wise until we get the state of play on the 2nd. That's when we're really gonna get some major news. So yeah, but overall, I did enjoy reacting to a lot of these videos with you guys. Some of them almost put me to sleep because, frankly, some of them were kind of boring to me. I'm gonna be real with you, and I think it was just a 007. And just hearing the talk of Assassin's Creed Resynced. Like I said, I hope 007 is good, and I hope Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is good as well. One of them is dropping next week. The other one is dropping literally 2 months from now. Well, almost 2 months from now. So we'll have to see. But overall, I had a fun time reacting to all this stuff for you guys. Now it's time for me to go ahead and get something to eat before I get back to recording more Batman. So to everyone here, from D-Train to Don to CDs to Kitty and everyone else who showed up here today, thank you for submitting some good videos for us to watch. Hopefully we'll get a whole lot more next time if you guys take part in it. And it's not going to be next Saturday. It's going to be the Saturday after next because I skip a day after we get done with them. But to everyone who tuned in here today, all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all again in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my membership and Patreon because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always... Later, peoples!